day. And unfortunately, I didn't get too much started till around noon. So unfortunately, I do have to apologize. No video tonight at midnight. No sound. What do you mean no sound? It's all registering over here. Everything's on. You mean no sound? What the? That's on. This is on. Oh, it's good now. Okay. Okay. You guys are scaring me, man. Oh my God. As I look around and I wonder,
how many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Okay.
Keep firing, assholes!
And keep watching, assholes. And right now, I got my drink. I hope everybody has theirs. And I just realized the ice is already melted in here. So it's not going to hit all that hard. And just so you guys know, hopefully this week is the last time I'm using the preset intro. I was trying to work on one today. I simply ran out of time. I'm about halfway through it. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm having trouble finding a particular video. But hopefully you guys don't have any issues. And you guys got to let me know when it does play, how it comes out. So without further ado or don't, let's get moving on here. And first things first, we're going to go over everything over the past week really quick with your comments. And
What the fuck?
what that is a $10 super chat from MTF Guard. And he says, yo, surprisingly decent weather we're having this week. Yeah, maybe where you are. Haven't checked next week's, though. All right. Well, we can get into that one. Now, you guys know I live in the Northeast. And around here, this is usually maple syrup season. And if those of you don't know how to make maple syrup, you need to have below freezing temperatures at night and above freezing temperatures during the day, preferably with some sunshine. And that moves the sap up and down the maple tree so you can collect it, boil it down to make syrup. Well, it's been right now it's raining outside and the wind's blowing, so it's keeping everything cold. And then if it's not always cold, it's always warm. So the sap moves one time and that's it. Instead of twice a day, it's moving once and staying there for days. And we're actually looking for another snowstorm coming in. So yay! So yeah. Oddly enough, when I decided to do this channel, guess what I was doing? I was outside cooking sap. And I was actually writing stuff, writing down story ideas. Because when I was sitting there boiling down the sap, again, if I had to listen to Rex is a good boy one more fucking time, I was going to lose my mind. So, thank you very much, Guard. I got you written down here. And we're going to go into a fine ship. I will make it mine. Yeah, this one was a completely off-the-cuff story. It was actually originally inspired by a couple comments, but not comments on this channel, on my other channel. And that one has more, I don't know, social and political leanings. However, as we all know, you get inspiration wherever in the hell you get inspiration from. It is what it is. So there was that. And by the way, I did want to touch on this. Yes, a few people found this a little too close to home because, yes, I did take stuff from reality here. And yes, I did reference a few actual laws, at least here in the United States. We do have some people who listen in other parts of the world, so the laws are different. So if you're wondering why I set it up that way, I got to work with what I got. You know what they say? If you want to do it right, you write what you know. So there wasn't much in the way of comments on there. So I'm going to take that one off for a second, double check and say, yes, Joseph says, my mom still has fond memories of sap cooking. Yep. It's gotten very almost industrial now. They have much faster ways than sitting out there from 6 a.m. to like 7 p.m. and then polishing it off in the house. Although for me, for one, it cleans up the yard because it takes away takes care of all the refuse and stuff. I don't have to have a special day just to to burn it all. I can just burn it all in extremely hot temperatures and call it good. And also make it work for me, turn a negative into a positive. And hold on, there's somebody, Erica, how you say that last name? Oh yeah, it's and she has a $10 super chat. As she says, thank you for the amazing stories. In the Midwest, we are going to get cold again. No touching ships that aren't yours. Well, on that one, we're going to be going over more of that later. I don't want to jump too far ahead on this, but you are 100% right, which is why one of my favorite fucking lines from any cartoon ever was actually from the Batman animated series back in the early 1990s, when Bane actually grabbed the fenders of the Batmobile and crunched it in with his bare hands. Alfred comes up behind Batman in the cave and says, "You seem to have a ding in your fender, sir." "He went after my car, Alfred. Between a couple of guys, that's pretty personal." So yeah, it's the same thing when it comes down to PT boats, but we're going to come into that again a little bit more later. The next one on the list was our savior that has arrived. I put a lot of description on here because I'm having a lot of trouble pulling in new viewers, and hopefully that will pull more folks in. Just trying something. So if the thumbnail seems a little busy, and I got to do that. Wow. Here's one that made me laugh, guys. And I didn't even think about this. Maybe it was in my subconscious. Hopefully you guys have watched this, and I'm not spoiler alerting anything. But when the weapon systems come out and just all of a sudden point in one direction, somebody says it's like Bugs Bunny on one of the, seems like he's on some sort of ship, and somebody comes up like Yosemite Sam. I'm a pirate in your vessel, and all of a sudden all these guns just kind of pop up and wrap around him. So as I thought about that, I was like, oh my God, you evil genius. I had totally forgot about that, but that's a funny representation and pretty accurate too. I actually have it written in my notes here, not far off from how things would actually go. Now, the one thing you got to remember with any of these vessels, any of these civilian ships, they will almost never, ever, ever have their weapons on display. It's the reason being is it's the same reason a lot of places you can't have your sidearm exposed. It makes people nervous, and they think someone, oh, just because he has it out, he's going to use it. Actually, it's the opposite way. If they have it concealed, a higher chance they're going to use it. If they have it out, it's basically back the fuck off, bro. And let's not do this. There's no I'll be your huckleberry. It's let's not do this. Anyway, again, not a lot of comments for our savior. But yeah, the main kicker on that one, as you guys seen, the main plot was we have a contract. We're humans. If we take our businesses very, very seriously. So it's a whole bunch of move, bitch, get out of the way, and then we're going to show up. Even if it's a colony that people don't want us to show up. Now, on to the one that has been coming up over the past week. Hopefully you guys are all caught up, because I'm going to be going through all the comments. At least all those that weren't good story, which I'll take even those comments. This one in particular, the reason for my ship, and kind of like how this one here, a fine ship, and of course this one was focused on the ships too. Since you guys requested the whole differentiation of the vessels, how each one in sci-fi is going to break into different areas and things like that, which, by the way, we're going to talk about here in a minute, but I do have some of my notes right here. I've actually got two separate notepads that I'm working with. I only have one right now for this, but anyways, that's where this came from. So you guys actually brought this one to the forefront of my mind. However, when I started writing it, I had one thing in mind: to slow the hell down. I wanted to have kind of a slow burn story. And yes, there's foreshadowing, but we'll see what's foreshadowing where. Okay. There's the thing is, there's always got to be a little bit of misdirection, a little bit of extra, just a little bit of extra detail. So people wonder where you're going with that. However, I tried to get as much solid science in there as much as I could. And for some reason, my chat box is going absolutely nuts. It's like flickering, which is kind of weird. We do have a storm going over. Like I said, guys, it's raining pretty hard. So if anything happens, you guys know the deal. But anyway, just want to bring that up. It's, again, by you guys' request. Okay. Aside from a slow burn story, I want you to remember this. A lot of people said Endor was really slow, and they're like, what the hell's going on? And there was a big payoff at the end. Hopefully there's a big payoff at the end. And I'm sure if you guys listen to part 4, you'll wonder why I said it's a payoff. Ugh. And hopefully you're not laughing too hard. Most of you are probably grossed out. Now, this was one of the comments that was brought in. Somebody said the tech level would be worth fighting for. Something worth fighting for. And you're right. And they mentioned if it was happening now. I actually put in my notes specifically for this, and I've brought up some of this before, but not too recently, is the fact that I do mention a lot of hidden technology because we have not seen state-of-the-art since 1946 with the atomic weapon. It was very quickly created, tested, or developed, tested, and then deployed. And that was state-of-the-art for its time, as far as we understand it. Now, there's more when it comes to history, when it comes to that, but there was a big question about, was Tesla in on this? Well, Tesla wasn't even born yet. Or, sorry, he was, sorry, I screwed up my notes. He was dead, or I shouldn't say dead. He was gone in 1943. I mean, the guy was born in 1856. So, yeah, he wasn't really involved with that. However, they did take a lot of his notes to create all that. And also the fact that there's a lot of things he was working on, a lot of things he actually perfected, at least on paper. And when this guy wrote stuff down, he wasn't Da Vinci. It wasn't a arts and crafts product that may or may not work. No, Tesla drew stuff that fucking worked. I mean, he drew the entire tower down to the same freaking bolt. What? Yeah. Yeah, War Sniper, I'm pretty sure. We'll get into that in a second. I just want to get through some of these notes first. But as far as Tesla is concerned, yeah, they took his notes and they stood on top of the shortest of geniuses, and they want to package it and patent it, and then they want to sell it. They want to sell it. Yeah, sorry, I can't do a Steven Gutenberg impression, especially I got things here that'll fall off and break. So, anyways, now he brought in there was a lot of physics. And he was in physics. He started in 1870s. He was actually like the #1 guy in the world when it came to physics. The guy was a fucking genius. And it's just crazy because around that same time that he was working on those physics, there was a lot of strange things that happened, history speaking. Okay, we've all heard of the mud flood. Did you guys know in 1870? Hopefully I didn't say 1970. It is 1870s. The early 1870s, that's when all the reports of giants all of a sudden just disappeared. All right. The Smithsonian was founded in 1846, and within 20 plus years, they took over everything when it came to history. So, yeah, a lot of this has been hidden. Even if there was something that we could find that has extra technology, it is immediately grabbed and hidden. And yeah, Douglas, he was behind they took his stuff and they used it for the Philadelphia experiment, but they didn't fully understand it. The reason they didn't fully understand it is they didn't realize if you're going to teleport, it has to be instant, or as close to instantaneous as you can possibly get, like faster than light speed, or else you're going to have some issues. It's just that simple. In particular, people's shoes are going to be glued to the deck, or they're going to accidentally be bumped into something and their hand, it's oh shit, and they're going to put their hand against the wall, and then suddenly the outer 3 layers of skin, you're going to have to peel it out of the wall because you're stuck there, you're fused to it. Since they went so slow, that's why people were fused into the deck plating, and it's not just the decks on the ground, but also the upper decks and the side walls or side. Is it side deck or side walls? I keep getting them mixed up. Around that same time, Orphan Trains and something, and all. I mean, it was just a crazy, crazy time. So hopefully, I'm not too far down the rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole is. Oh, damn, that's loud. And hopefully we found our way back outside that rabbit hole here. And just a reminder to everybody, I'm going to post a link into the chat box. Okay, this is Doug's GoFundMe. So go ahead and copy paste and send that to everybody. I actually sent it to somebody I know over in Gruntspeak, and he's going to just go over it really quick. Don't be surprised, Doug, if they contact you and ask you to verify with your DD214. As long as that's all squared away, they shouldn't have a problem posting it, and you'll get more traction there. A hell of a lot more traction than here. I'll tell you that much. Holy shit. All right. More comments that came from my ship. Okay, somebody was talking about the board games when I mentioned them there, how they just kind of after dinner watch or played board games instead of watching TV or something like that. Well, it's always good to have some around. You never know when they're going to come in handy. Now, me personally, when I was writing it, I wasn't thinking Monopoly. I was thinking more like Catan or Uno. Uno can last a long time, but something that would be over in like maybe half an hour to an hour. And then you can play another game so somebody doesn't feel like a loser. They actually have a chance to win again, even if they're going to lose again. But it's always good to have that. All right. On part 4, only one person figured it out. Only one of you figured it out. Why was some sort of rhyme in the beginning of part 4. I wonder who might have sung that rhyme before, as the guy stumbled out of his bed and made his way to the kitchen and started his coffee pot so he could have a little cup of, shall we say, ambition. And he sat there waiting for the cup as he's yawning and stretching and hoping his brain actually activates again as he comes to life. And yes, I totally messed up everything up, but I'm trying to match it to the story as well. So we'll see who actually puts that in the chat box first. So, all right. Last thing I wanted to say on my ship, as far as this being seemingly a slice of life, I wanted to make sure this was not one of the unbelievably high amount of power fantasies they have out there. Okay, there's so many of them. I've written many of them. I'm trying not to hit that too much. Okay, guys, just easing off on that. Yeah, Joseph, work on that. And Rage, you are correct. Yep, even Doug jumped in right behind you. So, since I am done going over all those, let me jump over here to the videos and let's see. Now, I didn't get anything extra from Guard, and everybody's having a lot of busy weeks, so I'm not going to say absolutely nothing when it comes to, so I'll just throw, I don't know, this one. Here, I try to get everything done while you guys are watching a video, and my computer is deciding to be really, really slow. There we go, finally. All right, back over here so I can throw in the comment section as well. All right. The next thing I want to go over is near and dear to everybody's heart on this one. Okay, and that is the fact that the requested video, like I said, I got some of the notes right here. I got another notebook. Actually, it's downstairs over where the office is going to be made. And you can kind of see this was the original notes I was taking. I didn't get very far, but I was actually writing the different types of sci-fi space-faring ships. Now, I did not go into fighters. I did not go into drones. Okay, there's a very specific breakdown of those. These are vessels that can be actually lived on or have a specific purpose outside of warfare. I shouldn't even say that. I just didn't do fighters or drones because I didn't want to actually break off into the difference between a superiority space or space or air versus a aerospace fighter. Which one's better? Whatever. That can be a whole video in and of itself. Because in all honesty, I'll let you know, if you have an aerospace fighter trying to go toe to toe with something like an F-18 or an F-16, or God help you, one of those Euro fighters, which I keep screwing their name up on, good fucking luck. Okay, you are going to be outmaneuvered, outpaced, outgunned, and totally out of luck very quickly. However, like I said, I'm going to be starting with like PT boats and moving all the way up. I do have drop ships in here as well. As you can see behind me, there's one landing. Okay, can a drop ship be a PT boat? Yes, if you personally own it and you are living on that son of a bitch. Okay, that can be your own personal transport. Jeez, War Sniper with a full battle report. Jeez, titty fucking Christ, dude. What'd you break the planet? Don't worry, it's not broken. It just needs duct tape. All right. But yes, I am working on this one. You guys requested that one. It is going to take me a long time to finish because I have to do it in sections because it seems like every time I turn around, I get the, standard, hey, you shit. You guys know how it is. I'm sure most of you are living it. So it is what it is. I'm also looking for a potential additional job here. I'm going to be going to a job fair on Saturday. However, I'm driving someone else. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, if there is a specific type of vessel you guys want me to dive into, like deep dive into, you guys got to let me know. I will start here and I will make sure that I hit that one most likely on a separate video. But it's going to be basically a ship breakdown, but not a particular ship breakdown. I'm not Sacred Cow Shipyards here. I'm not going to do that. Actually, Leonid, PT boat, as far as terrestrial, you're right, stands for patrol torpedo. However, in science fiction, a PT boat, and all ships are considered boats, PT is personal transport. Okay, so if you just own a transport like a drop ship, then that's considered a PT boat. It's your own personal transport from point A to point B. That being said, the majority of these you need to be able to live on for a extended period of time, because if you're going into space, it's not going to, you're going to take a long time to get from point A to point B. So.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
What that is a $10 super chat from the Guardian Sage. And he says, possible story idea. Okay, let me get on a fresh page. Story idea. Says, a higher power, hyper advanced humans, aliens, and other decides to help humanity of Earth by making it temporarily impossible for anyone on Earth to speak, write, or copy. Huh. Aliens make impossible Was it speak, write, copy? Okay, that last one could be very whatever. And I look over and there's another 5 from Guardian Sage, and he says anything that's not 100% true. Are you you're gonna have to let me know if you're talking about the ships, or are you talking about this higher power one? Oh, sorry. I see it. Cut you off. Never mind. Stop. You can stop typing. As write or copy anything that's not 100% true. Not 100% true. Okay. That's going to make things, that's actually difficult. I don't have time to brainwash and wax myself and break that down. However, thank you very much for the super chats, and I have it written down, and I got a whole host of things to actually go over before I get to that. So we'll get to, I will look into it again. I write them all down, folks. I do write them all down. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. Covered the different ships. Now, I wanted to go over something that is interesting, and that's AI. Well, they call it slag or slop. I call it AI slag. In particular, all this fake AI shit is actually killing a lot, and I mean a lot of creators. So now I'm not tied in with a shit ton of them. However, I do know certain people who have been talking with other YouTube and internet creators for a long time, and they say a lot of these folks have just said, fuck it, I'm out, because they can't actually continue to make a living off YouTube. I don't have to worry about that. I'm fucking retired. I do this because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking with you guys, and it's kind of a therapy. However, if I was doing this just as a have to live off of, I'd be living in a van down by the river. Yeah, that's how bad I would be. Okay, Green Dragon wants a heavy assault troop ship. Okay, now that the thing is, heavy assault, and I'm writing it down. Heavy assault troop. Okay, the thing with the heavy assault troop ship, guess what? That version behind me on the that big Fabergé egg right there is a heavy assault troop ship. That is a God damn it, I just had a brain fart. It's a Battletech dropship, okay? The reason for the round design is so when it goes through an atmosphere, it's a lot easier to maneuver without getting certain edges caught. And it's also a lot easier to deflect shots unless they're a direct, absolutely perfect hit. They will deflect off instead of penetrating, which makes a lot of sense. However, can you have a personal transport as a heavy assault troop ship, or take one and turn it into? Yes, you can. That is absolutely possible. This is why I keep saying that they cover each one. And here's Rage talking about corvettes. Now, I actually have that in a separate category. And I'll give you guys a little touch. Okay. Again, this is, I kind of wish I want to run downstairs and get the other one because it has a lot more notes. Okay. Corvettes are purpose-built military or paramilitary. The reason for the Corvette is because they're fast, they're light, but they're set up for specific reasons. Very few Corvettes are for assault, at least in science fiction. Okay, don't kill me on this. Now you look at the Expanse, the Rosary Anante, whatever the hell you want to call it. That thing is actually a purpose-built Corvette for assaulting. It comes with its own railgun. If it was just its own personal transport, it probably would not come with a main gun like that or a main battery like that. That is why Corvettes are usually for military and paramilitary. Most personal transports will simply have defenses, not offenses. However, some defenses can be used as offensive weapons, yeah. So, mobile fleet yard or an ARC class. Okay, mobile fleet yards, believe it or not, fall under carriers. Believe it or not, they do fall under carriers. I'm going to actually write that down. Carrier mobile fleet yard. The reason being is they serve the same purpose. For the majority of times, their job is to collect other ships so that they can be repaired, refit, rearmed, refueled, and sent back out into the ether. Guess what? A carrier does the same thing. The only difference is a fleet yard is not there for invasions. A science fiction carrier absolutely 100% is. It is meant to carry invasion forces and rapidly deploy them above the surface of a planet. And I've gone over it many, many times exactly how it's going to work. There's going to be a lot of time on target. There's going to be a lot of things you need to do for that drop. Now, as far as ARC class, that's a colonization ship. I'm going to actually write that down so I can mention ARC class because I don't usually use that. Colonization. Okay. And that's one of the main things. Thank you. Union class dropship. Thank you very much, Douglas, for reminding me of that one. I just, my brain just went up. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's what's in this glass. It's magically draining my brain. Actually, it's not true. I've been having a lot of trouble focusing the past day just because I've been all over creation. It's nuts. I'm starting to worry if I need a cognitive test. Anyway, but yeah, a lot of these different classes that they talk about is exactly what I want to go over, so there's absolutely no confusion. And hopefully, if I do a good enough job, it's going to spread out to the entire sci-fi community so that everybody understands what the flying fuck knuckles you're talking about. You know, it's very important to understand. Now, if I was to say use this Union dropship as my own personal transport, I'd be doing the exact same thing with that as I would be doing with what's going on in the story My Ship. You'd be using it to transport goods because it's a big-ass cargo hauler. At least the Union ship. This guy's ship is not big enough for massive transit like that. However, it does work. Thank you for that one. Yeah, I'm not in that category. I've seen some of the nefarious crap he's doing. I'm not 100% with him. Only certain things I agree with, but you'll never agree with anybody 100%. Now, I wanted to bring this up. I kind of got sidetracked a little. Now, we were just talking about carriers. In Battletech, they also have the jump ships. Those do not count as any type of transports. Those actually do count as carriers because they attach smaller ships and they carry them from point A to point B, hence the name. Just like a mobile fleet yard will carry damaged ships with them as they go, that's the way they are. Just like the big dreadnoughts almost count as carriers. A dreadnought and a carrier only have one fucking difference, and that is big ass guns and a lot of them. Okay, I kind of wish I had a picture here, but I can only have so many up at a time. Why? Ask YouTube. I don't know. But anyways, that big flying wing they had in one of the Star Wars movies, that dreadnought was a mobile space station. Okay, that's why but because of its size, it skirts the line between Dreadnought and Titan class. I don't know the size, and the size of Titan class is usually restricted to something relatively a half the size or bigger of our moon Luna. That's just the way it is. Usually Titan classes are almost strictly colonization ships, or as Guardian put it, ARC class. Okay, it's they usually fall into that, or that's their pretense. Now, when I do this, the video on the different ones, again, I'm going to start small, but I'm going to be starting with, yeah, well, I thought the Supremacy was from the original trilogy. Wasn't that Vader's ship? And anyways, when I do this video, again, I will take any questions or comments or whatever you guys want to throw in here, and I'll try to make it the best video I can. But I'm going to start as small as I can with the smallest possible PT boat. And the perfect example of this, spoiler alert, is the Mandalorian's, I forget the name of the ship, like Thunderhawk or whatever the hell. It wasn't the Revenge or anything like that. I'll think of it here in a second. But that was basically the personal transport. I mean, they thought it up very well. I hate Star Wars with a fucking passion, and I can write shit far better than those guys can, and I have. Unfortunately, I don't dare do it right now because Lucasfilm might sue me. They're suing a lot of people now who make the fan videos. Main reason, fan videos are better than the shit they make. It's crazy. And with the way AI is going, it's just going to make it even worse for them, because now they can make a 30-minute video that's just as good, if not better, for, I don't know, $500-$600 worth of equipment compared to the millions of dollars that Disney is spending. But you know what? Fuck Disney. Fuck them up the ass with a big rubber dick. I don't care. Now, before I go too much further, just understand that personal transport is one of the only ones that does not have a limit in size. As we all know, everybody's size is different. Giggity. Oh, sorry.
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Sorry, I forgot to turn that up. But anyways, you're going to see where a bunch of these overlap, okay? Drop ships overlap a lot because some of these, like a frigate, can also be a drop ship. Actually, drop ships and frigates get very, very close, like unbelievably similar. A lot of times, the only way you could tell the difference is, again, how much is inside. Vader's ship was the exact. Okay, that's why I get it mixed up. I'm not too up with the names. Okay, Executor versus Devastator. The only true Devastator I know was the Constructicons. So yeah. But anyways, again, if you guys have any, yeah, the Supremacy was the giant wing that looked kind of like a B1 or a B2 bomber. The spicy Dorito. Anyways. Yeah, again, if there's any other type of ships you guys want me to cover in detail that go into this video, by all means, throw them up here. Don't actually throw up, but you know what I mean. And I will take everything. All right, before we go in, let me reorganize here. And I'm going to throw on another quick video. What's another? Oh, these are almost exactly 30 seconds long, all of them. So I can't even see what this one is. What is it? Well, that didn't put me off my appetite, but I've seen worse. Trust me, you don't want to. Actually, that reminds me that I have another channel that I keep trying to make videos on, but I keep getting held up on. So, it is what it is. Time is something that keeps getting away from us all. Anyways, since we finished with that, again, I'm going to keep the other one out in case you guys want to talk about more ships, which I hope you do. I'm going to go into what the more pop culture and entertainment news is. Now, I don't give the flying fuck about pop culture. I just want our entertainment to be good. Unfortunately, that's not really happening. We got Overwatch, which has an abundance of, how do I put this? They tried to make it for modern audiences, and that got freaking chucked because there was a huge player removal. Everybody just stopped playing. They didn't want to do it, and good on you guys. I know, Guard, you're a big player, video game player. I wish I honestly, if I could sit for like an hour or two every day and play MechWarrior Online, I fucking would, guys. I really, really would. Because,
Holy
oh,
Jesus.
wait, I just played that one too much. How about this one for the SS Demon? Oh, shit, where is it?
Hicks doesn't trust me right now.
Really? Why not?
Because I got to use a sniper rifle and I ended up unloading a round into her ass.
Hey, Jacob, bum.
Caboose, what did I tell you about that?
Sorry.
And we got a $20 super chat from the SS Demon. He says, hi, everybody. So what happens when you have a ship that makes a Titan look like a small toy? Like a diameter of the ship, or is the diameter of your asteroid belt? Just asking for no particular reason, which I could stay but work. You've just created a Dyson sphere. You do realize that, right? It can't be a personal transport because that wouldn't belong to one person. If that was true, and again, PT as in personal transport is owned by one person. It's their own personal ship. However, if you're talking about a ship that wraps around from the asteroid belt all the way around the star, again, that's a Dyson sphere. That's not a ship. It literally can't move. It can't move the star. Stars are fixed. You show me how to move a star and I will change my opinion. Or I should say, hold on. Where is it? But I really don't see how a star would move. Now, again, if you're wrapping around that big, if you have a ship large enough that could be the size of an asteroid belt and you're moving near another galaxy, the gravity well from that ship alone will be enough to destabilize the system that you're passing by. It's yikes, dude. It literally would be a Planet X scenario. If you guys know about that, great. If not, let me learn you. Supposedly, there's an extra planet out there that we have difficulty picking up, which they call Planet X or Nibiru. It has a very strange orbit, which brings it somewhat close to the planet Earth. When that happens, it fucks with our gravitational field and has a chance to not just flip it, but rotate it, spin it like it's a fucking basketball while being kicked up like some soccer player. It's just crazy. Okay, Julius, I'm going to go over that one in a second, why there were ads. I clicked on that as in small ads. Let me know if you guys don't want them. This will be the last week they're there. This is just something that I was told by YouTube I had to do. And, well, again, if it's too much of a pain in the ass, I will get a hold of them and I'll shut that shit off. So, hopefully it wasn't too bad for you. But we're going to keep going. Just a small butt that time. All right. Where in the hell was I? All right. As we're going to go back to games here with Highland. Or sorry, not Highland. High Guard. High Guard. Yeah, High Guard is apparently a load of total crap. As in, somebody took a massive dump and Jeff Goldblum walked in and said, that's a giant pile of shit. Apparently it is. And it shows the reason why, and when you go into it, when you actually break down into it. Now, thankfully, I have somebody who breaks these down for me a little bit so I can just touch on them. He does entire videos based on it. So, but when you have all these developers, treat them like garbage, by the way, and they treated them very, very badly. And then you decided to not transfer them over to another project, but fire them most of your developers, like within a week after the launch of your video game and then saying, well, that's shit on you. Well, yeah, expect all the bugs that are still there to still be there forever, because the people that actually know how to fix it aren't going to be there. And it's just, it's crazy. But the thing is, they made it for modern audiences, and it's just, yeah. I'm so pissed I could strangle him with a cordless phone. I mean, just it's just absolutely crazy. But I mean, they just did everything wrong. And when the game failed, because again, it was made for the modern audiences, and of course, real players don't give a shit. We just want a good game. Can't you give us a good game, you fucking ballless bastards? It seems like every time, if I want to buy a game, I swear, this is all I hear.
It's a trap!
And then I don't want to buy it anymore. I would love to play some more MechWarrior Online. I'd love to play some BattleTech. I'd love to play a couple different games. I worry about it. And unfortunately, they did some pronoun what the fuckery with MechWarrior Online, or not MechWarrior, with BattleTech, and it almost sunk the game. Thankfully, the actual game from Hairbang Screams is just really, really good. So again, with Highguard, when it fell, and it fell hard, both the business and the developers blamed, as they say, the chuds. You mean the customers? Don't piss off your customers. You need your customer base, you self-righteous donkey shit. I mean, just what the hell is wrong with these people? I don't want to sit here and piss you guys off. Why do you think I try to keep out of as much politics as possible? Because that's a good way to piss everybody off, is talk politics. I don't do that. I might skim the waters, but I'm not diving into that pool. No, thank you. Because that's diving in headfirst into the shallow end. Not a smart idea. But they blamed them for the failure, and now it's only been out for what, 2 weeks? A shutdown of all their servers is imminent. And as it turns out, Tencent had secretly funded them and now is wanting their money back. Oh boy, this is going to be... this is going to be just a major screw up. And I'm not even sure. I don't know if Highguard's a console game or a PC game, or it's for all of them, but wow, just wow. And this is why, me personally, I think we should go back to actually buying a game when it's complete. You put the disc in and you play. There's no connecting to anything. There's no downloading the game. There's no DLC. There's just the game. You give me the game so I can play the game, you piece of shit. And it's just, it blows my mind to the nth degree that they don't understand this. And because of that, again, it's shut down, or it's going to be shut down. Okay, that's enough about me bitching about Highguard. The company Ubisoft, they're in trouble. The developers apparently are preparing for the company's collapse, the actual breakdown of the entire company. Why? Because they're just outsourced. They'll have people working for them and they treat them like shit. They go somewhere else and they make a better product. It's the amount of indie as in independent games is just crazy right now. Absolutely fucking crazy right now. And that's because a lot of these people are like, you know what? You're going to treat us like shit. Fuck you and die. I mean, like the man, I'm going to try to say this right.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
No, I'm not shocked at all, because these guys got too goddamn greedy. And it's this greed is tearing their own companies apart. All right. Main reason they're getting ready for collapse is, again, they got rid of everybody. They're turning out crap. And now their quarterly report is, in one word, horrific. Why, you ask? Well, oh, shoot, I lost my place. The stock for their company is down 50%. And not just down 50%, they're down 50% year after year for almost 3 fucking years. Wow. Just wow. You can't sustain a business model when you have stocks and you keep losing that much capital. You keep losing that. No. Everybody is abandoning that thing like it just rammed into an iceberg, and they're saying, fuck you. You can play your violin. I'm out of here. I'm on the boat. I'm gone. So yeah, it's so bad. And the thing is, every time you look at it, is pretty much they're telling you that same thing over and over again. The stock prices are down. They pissed everybody off. The company can't make anything good. They're just hemorrhaging money. And yet those on the boards will say, oh, but we're doing so well. Look how well we pay our board members. Well, what the fuck? Ugh. Just no. All right. There was a console exclusive, not from Ubisoft, called Code Violet. And apparently they put out the first trailer. It is glitchy as all fuck. Okay, when you actually tell your character, third person view, by the way, if you tell your character to simply just move off to the side just a little bit, it will dart that no matter what your settings are at, it will dart. And you know what they said? Oh, well, that's just a glitch so you can speed run it. It's an open world simulator. You're not supposed to speed run that. You know, if you wanted that, you should put in a code so you don't have to sit there and do all the travel. It will just get you there for the next one. You know, I'm sure somebody who played Witcher or Red Dead Redemption didn't want to sit there and ride the horse the whole time. So even though in reality, that's exactly what you'd be doing. But it's just, I'm like, what the hell? And the company they're just bullshitting. They're just such big bullshitters. And you can't bullshit a bullshitter because guess what? We're going to bullshit you back. What? I'm saying,
Great Scott!
there's something out there. Oh, that's right. That's Skip with a $10 super chat. And let me write this down real quick before I say, it says, when do you think they will drop the message type movies, games, and songs? They already have. There's a lot of them. There's a message movie that just came out. Avatar. That's a message movie. A lot of these, I can't do it. I mean, there's all these messages in games. That's what we've been talking about. And the songs, holy shit. Wow. When it comes to music, I've never heard a bigger brainwash and wax in my life because a lot of people don't actually sing the song. They chant it. They only chant this one little piece of it. And then you get some songs that will just say the refrain like 50, 60, 70 times. Now, I like Sabaton, but when I listen to Attack of the Dead Men, when it gets towards the end, I actually change it. I'm tired of listening to them do the refrain for the 5th, 6th, 7th time. I'm like, dude, it's the end of the song. Stop it. But yeah, the message is there. The message is absolutely there. I mean, hell, they had message songs when I was a kid. I used to listen to country music, the actual original good country music. But then as soon as they had old Billy Ray and Garth and everything, Billy Ray didn't sell out. Garth did, but everybody else sold out. They had Honky Tonk Badunk a Dunk. I remember when I was going off to college, I hear this song. I still remember the name of it. One Voice Was Heard. This young boy, he has amazing pipes, but his balls didn't drop, so he sounded like a little girl. Anyways, it was all about anti-firearm violence. I'm like, what? What? Do you realize your core audience? Apparently not, because apparently they got a whole bunch of crop of new people in, or something like BlackRock got a hold of them and decided to say, oh no, you're going to do this now because we say so. This is what's cool. This is what's in. And all I could think of with those type of folks is seeing Charles Schwab trying to get a hold of everybody and saying, you need to do this because, and Dr. Evil, like, I'm hip, I'm with it. And all that shit, trying to do the Macarena or something. I just, but it hurts my head to think about that. But yeah, it's been going on for a long time. It's just everywhere now. just fucking everywhere. And it's just annoying. It is so annoying. And you can't get away from it. And it's so bad that even on, there's how many channels? I'm sure you guys listen to more than mine. How many times you hear a channel and you go, oh, okay. They miss, like if they said, oh, here, I'll just put this on here because we have a bunch of great minds here. If they were actually reading this, they would say great minds instead of great minds. And no human's going to screw that up. If they screw that up, they're going to go back and re-record it. How do I know? That's exactly what I do. You'd be surprised how many times I screw things up and I have to go through them. Believe me, if you guys heard how bad I fuck things up, you'd probably laugh your ass off. Of course, a lot of it is me cursing like, God, sitting there pulling a Cartman.
God damn it!
Every time something happens, like if something drops outside or whatever. Anyways, but yeah, it's just, okay, you know what? I'm down a rabbit hole. I keep forgetting how loud that is. Sorry if that blew your eardrums out. All right, now that we're back out of said rabbit hole, back onto the games. And guys, there's another one called The Killer Inn, as in INN, as in basically the same type of place that they filmed Psycho at. Well, Square Enix made it, and it's been a complete and total fucking failure. It is 100% made for modern audiences. And I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck? I tried to watch the trailer. I got about maybe 15 seconds, and I just went, nope. Thumbs down that sucker, and I backed out as fast as I could. What's a teacher voice? Are you talking about my drill sergeant voice? Yeah, no. If I did that, I'd get a call from somebody else who lives here going, hey, what are you yelling about? You should actually hear at the end of one of the stories I had where the guy yells grenade or another one yells medic or something like that. And what were you yelling about in there? I was about to run in. Just don't worry about it. So anyways, yeah, this whole woke slob, it's everywhere, guys. It's I don't know what it is. Oh, it's like a disease that got spread around a school. You know, like that naval high school that they had in Buffalo that they called Herpy High. You know, it just got spread around there. It's oozing in. It's yuck. It's disgusting, people. It's disgusting. What's also disgusting, and you know what? Just so you guys feel better, I'm going to put this young lady on the screen so that what I say next does not make you actually want to break your phone or your laptop or whatever you might be listening to me on right now. It has been officially said that for the next Tomb Raider movie, the main character, Lara Croft, will definitely not be a quote-unquote sex bombshell. As in, she will not have, as they put, pointy boobs. And then they showed the character design. Literally, she has 0 chesticles. Guys, this desk I'm sitting in front of has bigger bumps than they actually put on that character. And the screwed up part, when she turns around, because again, it's in third person, she literally has no ass. Did she lose a freaking fight where they said, here's your ass? Because what the flying fuck? Just what? Hey, brain hurts, need a drink. Oh, I think most of that settled on the bottom. Whoo. Anyways, okay, let me pull off this Dead or Alive chick here. And yes, if you notice, most of them were from the Dead or Alive video game tonight. Not all of them, but you'll see. That being said, why? Lara Croft, even back in the day, it wasn't that she was attractive in her pixelated form. It was the fact that her ass was right in front of you the entire time. So the only part of her that was shapely was her posterior. But then she would turn and you got those triangle tits because that's all they could do back in the day with a PS2. And okay. Yeah, Julius, you're right. She's a walking telephone pole. It's just, I'm like, what are you doing? You literally have people canceling their orders because of this crap. If you can't stand to look at your own character on the screen, you're not going to play the fucking game. Duh. But apparently, these people who have lived their entire lives sheltered in school do not understand. It just kind of reminds me of the comic who did that. He was going around asking people what they did. And he asked, what do you do? Well, I'm a university teacher. Oh, so you just never left. You went to school. You just never left. And I don't know if you guys know that comic and you know that one, put in the chats by all means. Because that guy was just really funny. Anyway, apparently there is a boycott on the Tomb Raider because of the lack of chesticles. Okay, apparently they got like 2 or 3 letters that said she's been too sexualized and this around and all that, and they said even if you do add them, I kid you not. They said that any physics in there, any bounce physics, have to be completely removed. And I'm like, first off, that's not how those operate. Okay. I don't have them myself, but I've been around them enough times where I know they don't just stay in one spot. Especially if you lay down, they tend to look sideways and, watch out for danger. But if you take out what we used to call the jiggle factor out of that, what's the point of modern anything? It doesn't make sense. When she's walking, you should be able to see with today's technology, the flexing of the leg muscles as she's going. When she jumps up, when she lands, especially to try and, tighten the leg muscles so that she doesn't crunch into the ground. I mean, that just makes sense. But no, they have to boycott all this stuff. Why? I don't know. I really don't. Somebody has their head up their 4th point of contact, and it's just, okay. On that, I need to watch something get blown up. So,
Machine gun ready for action. It's gone over. I shut down. Target damage. High explosive. Target damage. High explosive loading.
all right, before I got sucked down another rabbit hole, I'm going to change tunes here. There is another game. Yes, there's a lot of video games that have been coming out lately, and the reviews are coming in. Lords of the Fallen 2. Not 1, not 3, 2. And apparently there was a boycott on that one too. There was a boycott to, again, desexualize the female characters in particular. They could sexualize the male characters all they want. Literally, you could have every single male character 6'8" or higher, shoulders the size of a fucking Mack truck grill, and friggin' so long that his head is dangling below his knees and he's not even leaning over. I mean, that's just that they want all that, but oh no, they can't have the male players enjoying what they're seeing. So they wanted to boycott all this. Thankfully, it's been a complete fail. They failed. You failed. Thank God you failed. And Real Gamers, because it failed, because this studio said, screw you, we know what our audience wants, we know what they like, and we're going to fucking give it to them. And sorry for the cursing so much, guys, but it annoys the shit out of me when people just throw away what's established and they don't understand who they're actually dealing with. The sheer absurdity. Now, Real Gamers are actually enjoying the actual visuals and the gameplay. Not only the visuals good, but the gameplay. It is getting very, very good reviews right now. I do not have any score right now in front of me. I forgot to write it down. I forgot to write any of these down. I don't know why I got sidetracked. However, again, it's just doing really, really, really well. And at least we got one bright spot in this entire thing. You know how every dark cloud has a silver bullet. So yeah, there's that. And apparently, to get this on Steam, I shit you not, I had to check this twice. This is an unconfirmed number, but this is what everybody is saying. CI Games, the ones who made Lords of the Fallen, spent around $28 million to get their game on, or games, all the games on Steam. And I'm like, that sounds like a bit much. They need to recheck their numbers because 28 million seems like a way too much. I know Steam is a whole bunch of friggin' ripoff artists at this point because they just want so much. And they got hacked like a week ago. It's crazy. And a lot of people lost their accounts. A lot of people got money taken out of whatever they had in there. It was just bad. The whole thing was just bad. It was messed up. And Steam itself, I'm going to go into them later, but they are pissing everybody off. And the kicker is, it's like YouTube. They were the biggest fish, the only fish in the pond. They had all the food to eat, but nope, it wasn't enough. And because of that, they brought in competition. And now they're getting more and more competition. And now they're trying to sink the competition, but the competition's being like, we're just going to do what you originally did. And fuck you for everything else. All right. Let me change gears here because no matter how many times I look at these like Ubisoft and Steam, all I can say is,
congratulations, you played yourself.
Hopefully they didn't do a whole deal with Dead or Alive, the new one that's coming out. Now, apparently there's a ban on direct feedback to the developers. Okay, now we all know Dead or Alive. Okay, let me see. Did I have one up here? Shit, I was hoping that I had the little. Okay, this girl. Now this isn't the best picture, but apparently this is one of them. From the Dead or Alive series, as you guys know, Dead or Alive started as an actual arcade game, and they were the first ones to have, as I like to call, jiggle physics. So every time the woman actually stood up real fast, her chest kind of wiggled a little bit, slowed down to a stop. Soul Calibur copied that really well. They were by the same company, but they copied that very quickly afterwards because they realized that was one of the things that drew people in and kept them dropping quarters in the machine. Now, they had, when they went to console, they had the volleyball game with all these girls in their, skimpy little swimsuits. And yes, this is I double checked. I can use this picture, so don't freak out, guys. But, and I'm just going to keep this butt on here. But now, after 20 plus years of them having attractive women who could, by the way, beat the shit out of plenty of guys, and these are little girls who, physically speaking, shouldn't be able to hit very hard, are kicking the crap out of the guys. In fact, the female characters were stronger and faster than almost all the guy characters there. Only a few male characters were able to outperform them in strength. The only thing they really had a advantage over was the fact that when the females hit them, because they hit them a lot more, they were able to take more punishment. But that's neither here nor there. They were still, they were scantily clad. But they could still hold their own, which was respectable, just like Harley Quinn, the current Harley Quinn, before after she got away from the Joker. Okay, when she finally realized she was being manipulated, she became a total fucking badass. And she was hotter than freaking the fire I got going downstairs right now. So you can have both, but no, like a cow. No, they just cannot allow us to have nice things. And I'm just like, whatever. This is Dead or Alive was actually labeled, I kid you not, for years and years, always in the top 5 of the most sexist games. And now a bunch of people are saying there should not be any fan service as in attractive women. What the ever-loving fuck are they doing? That's just wrong. Again, allow folks to have what they want. I mean, that's what they pay for. They pay for attractive ladies. Okay, that's just a picture. How about this one? Here we go. You know, that's straight from, this one is literally straight from the game. Cut straight from the game. Screenshot from the game. There's nothing wrong with her outfit. In actuality, I've actually known women who go to martial arts gyms. They don't wear a whole hell of a lot because you have to stay flexible. And if you need to fight your own outerwear, it doesn't work. It slows down your punches. It slows down your movements. It definitely limits your kicks and your range. So they would limit themselves on what they were wearing. Duh. But again, we can't have nice things. There was a push to remove the fan service, and now there's a full-on demand. No joke. They kept using that word, demand, for the original body shapes and not original body shapes to return, and not the planks that they were putting in there. And it's just, what the hell, man? Seriously, what the fuck? Just why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Seriously. I can only hope that they will get their head out of their butts and they will realize where they screwed up, so we don't watch another franchise get buried and sacrificed on the altar of wokeness. All right, last game I'm going to cover is, and I didn't even know this was a thing. I only found one article, but I had to write it down because it's based off the God of War series called Sons of Sparta. Wow, it is so much complete safe slop. It's just total slag, people. It's the stuff you throw away because there's nothing to it. There's nothing you can use it for. Sweep it under the rug. It's worthless. Don't even look at it. Don't buy it. Don't nothing. You're going to see a lot of people talking, oh, well, it's based off God of War, so it must be great because God of War was a great game. The one thing does have nothing to do with the other. Okay. It doesn't. All right. I'm going to run back to Steam real quick just to say that Steam is pissing off everybody by insisting on only pushing safe games. However, have they forgotten that they had at least one game that I'm aware of, something like Pirate Hunter or Pirate Wants Your Booty or some sort of pirate game, that if you clicked on it, not only would it hack your Steam account, but it would also hack into your computer and start pulling out any type of bank information. And Steam still has this on their site. Fuck you, dude. Oi.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
It hurts me because I keep yelling.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
They don't understand what they're doing, or they just don't get, well, they'll pay us anyway. No, we won't. And that's the thing they don't get. And it's just crazy how much you have to actually spend for these games now. Now it's all subscription, and it is what it is. Okay. Whew. That ends my notes, guys. Before I jump into the chat box, let me look over here. What else we got? Oh, we just saw that. So what about, say...
George, adjust up. Armor piercing loading! Tracks up and running. 11 o'clock. Yeah.
See, that video I like because the weakest part of the tank is either on the top or in its butt. Usually right on top, actually. And so that makes perfect sense. Point blank range with a heat round, high explosive anti-tank. Yeah, that's going to shred that motherfucker pretty quick. All right, now I didn't scroll up too far because we've been going for at least an hour already. And I see a whole bunch talking about the ads. Most everybody's saying the ads are okay. I'll keep them limited if you guys don't mind. And that's just to kind of plus up the channel a little bit. I have been holding off on certain things like memberships and things like that because honestly, I think it would just be a pain in the ass for everybody where you turn this into a subscription model. I'm going to fight that as long as I can. However, ad revenue is the main source that comes in. So it is what it is. All right. Guard says, no clue, but I wonder if Sin would be interested in some Halo Wars 2 multiplayer games. I would be. I just don't have the time, man. Like I said, from this morning on, I was out there helping my dad. I didn't even get started on this stuff until around 11:30. And then I could only work for about an hour, hour and a half. And then I had other chores to do. And then I was back to it. And which is why I didn't have time to write today. And I only have part of what I need for the next chapter. We're on my ship as they head to Venus. And by the way, don't be surprised if Venus is not what you expect, because sometimes you do need to subvert expectations. Oh, by the way, I do have to say right here, the Lost Isley. The only reason I use this is because if you look under where it says hull, where the syntax is, that's the ports right there that you land in. And actually, Sacred Cow Shipyards did a whole thing on these. Why this right here, out of everything, is exactly what you wanted to do if you're working with any type of spaceships that might be questionable. Okay, you don't want something to explode and take out a city block. If it's going to explode, you just want, you just want it to burst straight up. Oh, geez. Geez, I'm getting the hiccups. Maybe I should finish this off. Not that thirsty yet. But yeah, I wouldn't mind playing. Now, me personally, Halo Wars 2, not my preferred game. But I enjoy it. The thing is, I'm more of a strategic player. I'm not a rush type player. So we'd need a large map. If you have anybody there on a short map who's a rusher, you're going to kick my ass the entire time. Me personally, one of the things I do on that one is just like any other warfare, you need to focus on logistics. So my primary focus is the logistics. I need to get as much supplies as fast as possible. So I will focus almost primarily on that. I need to secure supplies and supply routes. If I can do that, I'm not only going to win, I am going to trounce somebody. I mean, bad. The last time I played Halo Wars, it was Halo Wars 2, against anybody, it was a 4-on-4 match. They knew the guys I was playing with, they knew how I played. So they put me into the center and they said, okay, go for these ones and build up. And they said to build up air. So, okay. I focused on air and I had a small amount of warthogs that I plussed up to make sure that they had railguns on them. And I was basically their QRF. And they kept me safe until I was lined up. And then I would go, as soon as they found the scarabs, especially, I am on that guy like flies on shit. Like just all over him. Like ticks on a dog. Like herpes on a porn star. I was all over them and just tore them apart. And it was driving them crazy because they're like, here comes all my air, well, I should say fast attack air assets. They're off there, all my Hornets, straight onto them. And then here come my slower assets, really hurting this guy. So, of course, they get their assets in. But before they realize what's going on, here come all my Warhogs off to the side to polish off the job and give some anti-air fire as well. And so by the time it was time for me to pull back, boom, I had them. There's so much anti-air fire going back at their QRF, quick reaction force, that they're just not, they just couldn't have it. However, We only learned this because they put me on the edge one time, and it was fairly close to the other side. I don't even remember the name of the map. And they literally said, here's your ass. By the way, here's both cheeks because I'm going to really fuck you. They had me done in 5 minutes. I was like, you rush motherfuckers. Okay, that's enough of that. Guardian says, moving a star is possible. Okay, is just so much of a pain in the ass that most people don't bother with it. You need the ability to maintain gravity on a scale of a supergiant just to move a white dwarf. Yeah, I believe that. White dwarfs are so dense too that they give off, believe it or not, size, basically ton for ton. White dwarfs are actually hard to push than a red giant. As far as gravity well is concerned and density. Now, don't get me wrong, because of the size difference, it's not there. However, I will say, until you mention it, I had never heard of anybody even thinking about trying to move a star, which is why it never occurs to me. And I'll still stick to it. Nobody's going to want to move a star. But you are right, Guardian, on that. I will definitely give you credit where credit's due. Demon says, I may have been thinking about giving PAI ships of that size, literally for the reason of moving stars. I don't have time for details because I'm at work. I really do have to go. Good night, all. Good night, Demon. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's having at least an enjoyable time at work. Maybe he's listening to us. Maybe he's not. But if you are, Demon, hey, thank you for even popping in to say hi. Even if you didn't drop your super chat, even coming in to say hi is music to my, or warms the cackles of my black dead heart. Okay. It's just nice to know you guys are here, just like Guard's here. He's really talkative tonight. He says, I'm so glad I waste money on YouTube Premium so I can just sit here and binge listen to Sin and Narrator and avoid possible ads during live streams. Yeah. I need premium just so I can post. So it's one of those things. After a while, you forget you're not seeing ads. And yeah, they're experimenting with that, by the way. Yeah. Oh, so you listen to Narrator? For a long time, I thought he was a bot channel. And then I saw he did a whole thing on, or he did a couple videos that were simulcast on Discord and everything, which, by the way, I tried to do that and I got kicked, like instantly kicked off. I was like, what the hell? I tried to do, you guys know, I tried to do the same thing on X and I got, within 5 minutes, I was gone. I'm like, what the fuck, over? So it is what it is. Yeah, let's see. Guard with, it's like with all the people who listen to Green Day, if you really listen to their music, a good majority of it is a bunch of anti-American bullshit. Yes, it is. It's pretty much, they tried to be the calmer Rage Against the Machine. Problem is, not only did Green Day sell out, but so did Rage Against the Machine. They both sold out, which is why I can't listen to their stuff anymore. It's terrible. It's terrible. Just terrible. And now they're losing money.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
And they fucked up big. But, I mean, those are the breaks. Eric is saying, I understand a more lean and athletic look is needed, but I've seen A and B cups with more tenting than that. Tenting? I'm assuming that's the gap in the middle. Let me know if I'm wrong, because that phrase is not something I actually understand. But yeah, the majority of female athletes I've known, believe it or not, they wear sports bras that are about a size too small to kind of squeeze those suckers in so they don't move around. Same thing with a lot of like bodybuilders and stuff. When they run, they wear the tight athletic shirts to make sure things don't move around and start loosening up any tendons or anything like that. The fact of the matter is, for most true female athletes, all the subcutaneous fat that goes into that area is drained off just because you're burning a lot away. Fair warning, guys, if you see a teenage girl who is extremely fit, has had no plastic surgery, and she's very large, as in like D plus size, but she's a strong athlete, be aware that the rest of her body will catch up once she stops being an athlete. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just letting you know. Don't ask me how I know that. Douglas says, when I used to play with the Lara Croft video game on PC, the jiggle factor was high. So high. But yeah, they did put the jiggle factor there after the first one. Believe it or not, most people didn't give a shit about how she looked in the first one. They thought it was a fun game. Just like a lot of people didn't give a flying fuck knuckle about the Chiefs' backstory when they played Halo. They just thought it was a fun game. It was a long puzzle game. And all I could say is they should have kept with that instead of fucking over everything up. Sorry, gotta pop a top on something else. I got rid of the liquor. Now it's time for something to wash it down with. Hell, that's not even cold anymore. Let's see. Tekkaman Rage. In Resident Evil, Lady Dom something or other ass has more polygons than the entire Resident Evil game. I have never actually played the Resident Evil games, so I'm going to have to take your word on it. Now, I do know with the new Unreal Engine that came out within the past year, a lot of people have been tweaking it, and it's getting difficult to tell that it's fake. You guys have seen the deep fakes and everything like that. I'm sure you have. And pretty soon, we're going to have basically the movie Iborgs happening. If you haven't actually watched that, I recommend it. It is an old sci-fi channel movie. It's only, I think, an hour and a half long. And you're going to see some folks who actually did make their name. They made a name for themselves later in that movie. Because back then, the Sci-Fi Channel was making movies left and right. And a lot of them, the humans lost. And they didn't just lose, they lost big. There was a lot of mental fuckery that went around that. However, with Iborgs, it's like they could see the future, man. You'll just watch it and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yes, it's called Iborgs. The I is in your eye, not initial I like iRobot, like EYE, Iborgs. Doug says, we had a specific class on how to project your voice. Okay. Oh, ventriloquism. Believe it or not, the grandfather of ventriloquism, if you know anybody who wants to get into it, he wrote a book. The thing is only like 20 pages long, but it has all the basics you need to learn ventriloquism. No joke. When I was a kid, I found this, and within an hour or two, half of us who had looked into it and were trying this could actually do it. They could do it a hell of a lot better than me. I haven't done it in 30 years. I mean, the closest I can get is a little bit of, trying to keep my mouth shut. But it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. I can't do it anymore. Anyways, Guard is here, says, I don't know if you covered it because I'm 5 minutes behind on the stream. Hold on. He says the magic word. But there are 2 medieval games that are coming out. One is catching an extreme amount of flack, and one is not. Which, of course, pissed off the rainbow community and journalists because, of course, it would. And the other one is catching no flack at all for having scrawny as fuck lesbian as their protagonist with the signature Karen Bobcat look, although the haircut was quite common in medieval times. So But the point still stands. One game is about protecting the kingdom and all that, and the other game is thin as a twig, liver liquor woman who can do anything, rampages through the kingdom for her wife. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, they could at least give her some damn muscles. And the fact that in the trailer they showed for her, she's taking on a guy who's at least got 4 inches on her with no problem. Ridiculous. But in some other game, okay, before I get into some other game news, I will touch on this one. And I say this as I literally turn my head and I'm looking at a girl's butt. Okay. One of those games, the one that's catching flack, is Lords of the Fallen 2. I did go over that one. I just heard about this other one. I didn't even write the name down. Okay. It's not, I literally hit anything that was like in the titles. Okay. But I heard this one you're talking about. She's now, yes, the bob cut was very common back then. You were absolutely right. However, I saw the character look, and she doesn't look big enough to actually carry the armor they put her in. And it's one of those things where they're trying to make it seem like, again, a power fantasy for a niche group of people. But you don't make any money selling to a niche group of people. You need to sell to a large group of people and then have a side project for said niche communities. But you need to cover a large base, and they refuse to do that. Yeah, if you ever, I really wish I knew the name of it. Maybe you're going to put it in later, but the name of her, when you put in for the trailer for this one with the woman with a bob cut, it literally starts with her covered in someone else's blood. I'm like, okay, psycho bitch. And she's smiling like it's turning her on or something. I'm like, okay, psycho bitch, you stay away from me, because Lord knows what type of parts you would cut off of me. The Wars of the Fallen 2 is catching a lot of flack because, again, they refused the boycott to unsexualize the characters, in particular the female characters. Not only can these female characters fight, but they are actually quite nice to look at. Now, when I saw them do their fight scenes, if they say kick some guy in the side of the head, they actually had the metal shin guards, and they struck with the metal shin guards and not the foot, which is what you're supposed to do, by the way, which is actually just above the ankle where you're supposed to strike to get the most out of it. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, they actually put in the clank of the hitting some guy, unprotected head, but she's got a metal shin guard. Yeah. I don't care how big you are. If she weighs at least 105 pounds and she can clack you on the side of the head like that, you're not continuing to run forward. You're staggering to the ground, most likely dying from a subdermal hematoma. Okay, let me go down here. He continues, but in some other gaming news, which I don't think you haven't covered or knew about, Valve, the gaming company, has successfully sued the Rothschild family over defamation of character. Oh, man. That's some powerful enemies right there. Very powerful. But because I'll sue everybody who disagree, because of the Rothschilds, I'll sue anybody who disagrees with me. The Sun tried to sue Valve over false advertisements, only to be caught by the jury making an AI slot fake purchasing bill. They said they had it for it. My phone is about to die, so I have to go now. I'll either be back in about half an hour, or yeah, I can see it's, oh, that's Guardian. Okay. But yeah, at the end of that guard, it kind of went. But yeah, the faking of the evidence, it's going to become a huge thing. You're going to be questioning the evidence. Like I said, watch the movie Iborgs, guys. You're going to see the surface level, but believe me, it gets very, 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 very deep on this. And I equate it to this. when you look at Battletech, you wonder why people don't just go into orbit and just level an area with all these battle mechs in it. Can't they see the battle mechs? Well, actually, they can't. That's the key thing. Inside every single one of the battle mechs is a type of ECM, electronic countermeasures, which makes it impossible if you physically are not looking at the screen to pick them up. If you pick them up on your visual cortex, then yes, you can actually target them, provided you can still see them. The sensors cannot lock onto them. If they have an advanced electronic countermeasures, which in the games, at least you'll see the ECM on that, it makes it very difficult, even if you can see it, for the targeting system to lock onto them. Once you have something like that, then if you don't see it with your own eyes, it didn't actually happen. Just like if you don't see it with your own eyes, you can't get a lock on Battletech. So with this, with all this AI shit coming out, if you don't see it personally happen, there's no verification unless somebody can say, oh, yes, I was there. That's me in the background, which they're going to most likely try to jury tamper and perjury and this, that, and the other thing. It's going to get very, very, very messy. So it is what it is on that one. Now, the thing is, the AI slag is not nearly good enough yet, at least not that most people are allowed to get a hold of. Like I said, there are some, it is freakishly good, just seriously freakishly good. In case in point, if you haven't seen already, type into YouTube the Brad Pitt versus Tom Cruise fight. It's only like maybe 30 seconds long, if that. And you're going to see how well this AI or this deep fake stuff has come along. Actually, no, it was 100% AI. It wasn't deep fake. Okay, Guardian's got to cut out because his phone is gone. Will's here, or I should say Skip. He says, in the book Ringworld, they did move their sun around the galaxy. Okay, I never read it. So, again, you guys are letting me know that it is possible. I just haven't come across it. So it is what it is. You know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if you guys set me straight, even better. See. Guard jumps in. Also, they announced that the God of War trilogy will be getting remakes. That's probably the Sons of Sparta I was reading about. And just, they had everyone for all consoles hype because they were like, hey, they might actually let everyone else play it. You know, it's just, and then he continues, yeah, no, they're making a remake of God of War trilogy, a PS5 exclusive, because of course, Sony would be fucking sounds refreshing, but it's really not. Speaking of which, I need a drink. You know, it's just, yeah, that was, that Sons of Sparta. I actually have it written down here that it is an exclusive, and I'm just, yeah, they're fucking up by the numbers, by the damn numbers. It's terrible, just terrible. Apparently, Julius liked the whole thing I said about all this woke slop sliming it and like syphilis on a pirate. That's funny. Okay, I didn't quite say it that way, but damn that! Oh man, I'm gonna put that in my tactical toolbox for later. Woo. Julie says, "Did you get to choose what ads to see?" No. It literally was you make yourself available. That's it. So if you're seeing something that's completely obscure, I didn't choose it, guys. I mean, I know we got some great minds in here, but, you know, it is what it is. All right. Yep. We got somebody here who's kind of high on Prozac and pancakes. And let's see. Joseph here. Star moving is usually towards the end of life for a universe. Stuff in classic sci-fi, old sci-fi. Yeah, I can see that. One of your comments got deleted? That's odd. The only person I know who's getting their comments deleted a lot is Demon. It's actually so bad with him whenever he sends a super sticker, super thanks, or anything like that. He actually has to screenshot it and send it to me on Discord. And by the way, I don't know what's wrong with it, guys. I've been in contact with them. They said they'll look into why people can't just immediately jump on the Discord. It's weird. I don't get it. But they said they'll look into it. Lena says, I have to take your word for it because I don't know what is wrong with the new Lara Croft. She doesn't have the same look. Okay. It's like if they, instead of Hugh Jackman for Wolverine, say they got, I don't know, the guy who played Nobody, from the movie Nobody. If they got him, it wouldn't fit. It doesn't fit the character. Not to mention, she's supposed to basically flirt her way into certain things, and you can't do that if you have somebody that somebody doesn't want to flirt with. Now, the kicker is, I do have to laugh my ass off because, and I forget who it wasn't the Sean Ryan show, but it was another interview I was listening to while I was driving, and they talked to somebody who he just got out of the CIA. And they said, what's one of the most difficult things? He goes, honey traps don't work anymore. Not nearly as well as they used to. And what do you mean honey traps don't work? Doesn't everybody want to get laid? Yeah, but every guy is so scared right now that they don't fall for it. A girl starts showing interest and they actually will move a bar stool away. As like, really? It's like, oh yeah, because they actually test this out on they'll actually go to a city or go to a town and test them out. Like, see if you can flirt with this, actually leave with this guy, then make an excuse and leave. And I'm just like, I actually had to stop at a stoplight, pull up my phone. It's like, is this real? No shit, it's real. And then, of course, I put my phone back down before the light turned green. I was like, what the fuck? So, yeah, it has to fit. Everything has to fit. So, you know, a lot of guys are taking, what was that old line from the X-Men movies? Be careful when talking with a beautiful woman, especially one that's interested in you. Let's see. Douglas here says, there's also a very old movie that I saw on Sci-Fi and horror channels was the Trilogy of Terror. I don't remember ever seeing that. So, yeah. Yeah, you're right. In the 1960s and 70s, we didn't have YouTube. No, we had the rumor mill. That's the best we had. We had Walter Cronkite and Dan Rather, and that's where we got our news and, you know, the Wall Street Journal and stuff like that. I still remember getting the paper every single day, and on Sundays, we would rush out there so we could sit there, read the comics while our parents are reading the finance news or whatever the hell they're reading. I didn't know what the hell they're reading. You know, it was a totally different time, with analog time. And that's why, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm going to give you a little bit of secret. When it comes to the different stories I have, not just this one, but a lot of them, you notice that the character is really old, or used to be really old before they were enhanced. These are the folks that actually lived through not only the analog age, but the digital age, the information age, and now soon the robotic age. So we're going to be able to, those type of people can adapt to whatever new age they're in, as in the space age or something like that. They called it the space age back in the 60s. That was a line of bullshit, because that was the rocket era. That was everybody testing their ICBMs in public because they couldn't test them in private. The same exact rockets that were used to launch ICBMs towards Russia, if we had to, are the exact same ones that apparently were lit under Buzz Aldrin's ass. So, yeah. Yeah, we've been through it. We've seen it all. Well, not all, but most of it. But that also makes us flexible. If you look at most, say, late teens to mid 20-year-olds, even sometimes late 20-year-olds now, they are not flexible at all. something goes wrong and they freak the hell out. I'm sure everybody here has known somebody at work who, if one thing goes wrong, they freeze. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, I spilled something. I don't know what to do. And they literally have a fit right there. And of course, they blame everybody else, even though everybody in that room saw them screw up. They take no accountability for anything. No, you need a group of folks who will actually go and will adjust and do things, whatever they have to actually accomplish the mission, i.e. travel through space. I just use different tech levels. Anyways, before I go down this rabbit hole too much, oh, I think I see the top of the rabbit hole. There it is. Let's climb out of this sucker. War Sniper says, I don't know what the ship classification is, but a ship that takes Titan supercarriers and dreadnoughts and other ships with it and deploys them as its own escort fleet around it, maybe break down a ship. Oh, that's a carrier, dude. It literally is carrier ship. A carrier ship is quite literally that. It grabs smaller ships and transports them distances that smaller ship vessels cannot handle. That's literally it. It doesn't matter if it's a mobile space dock. It doesn't matter if it's a Titan class. It doesn't matter if it's a jump ship from Battletech. They all fall into carrier class, which is why, like I said, I can almost make this video into a series. It's going to be a very, very long video as I break down each and every one, because I got to get the visuals in there too. But yeah, yeah. The ship fights to win with its fleet. Yeah. Like the Infinity does with its frigate escorts, which is why it's considered a carrier and not a battleship or a dreadnought, even though it can officially have the dreadnought classification, because the dreadnoughts are specifically designed not to be carriers, but to be, or I should say, hold on, I keep saying the magic word, but to be straight up slug match, like take down entire, like, hold on, let me say this right. Battleships are designed to slug match against entire fleets, okay? That's why they have extended amounts of armor and large weapons, usually direct fire weapons, along with a whole bunch of torpedoes, missiles, drones, and so forth. However, their main ordnance is large weapons. Dreadnoughts are there to take not only a fleet, but entire planets, because battleships do not have the ordnance to take down an entire planet. A dreadnought does. Because of the Infinity's 4 MAC guns, it could, in theory, destabilize an entire planet by destabilizing at least several continents with 1 or 2 bursts, which is why it has the dreadnought distinction. However, one could say it's not what it's designed for, which makes it a battleship, but since it carries those frigates, it's a carrier. The reason it classifies as a carrier is that is the majority of things it does. It has its drop pods, which is something a carrier does. It has its frigates inside, which is what a carrier does. It carries a shit ton of drop ships, which is what a carrier does. So yes, the Infinity is a carrier by definition, and that's why anything that falls into that. Now, you got to be careful of scale. You got to remember that each resource has to be taken from somewhere, reconstituted. And when you reconstitute it, you end up with less of what you had to actually have this, which is why there would be, in essence, so few true Titan-class warships or Titan-class ships in general. Okay. You got me ranting, man. Sorry about the quick rant, but I had to try and focus. I kind of got the whiskey around my head right now. But yeah, that's what that would come down to. It just, a lot of people want to have specific names, but here, I'll give you a quick example right here. I'm going to take it right out of my notes because I was doing my notes on destroyers, and destroyers are fast attack, multi-role vessels, but primarily for warfare. However, if you look at the classification, you would not say it's an Arleigh Burke class. No. It could you say it's a style? Yes. It's not Arleigh Burke as in our ocean-based or blue water fleets are a type of destroyer. So is an Aegis destroyer. However, the class of ship is not a Aegis, or it's not an Arleigh Burke. It's a Aegis or Arleigh Burke destroyer. Okay. Just like we were going over, I have here Ark class. Okay. That is a colonization vessel. Okay. That's the broad term, colonization vessel. It covers all the different ones, just like destroyer. And I got this, like the mobile fleet yard is a carrier as well. Just like I said, behind me, you can actually outfit one of these, and it's been done in BattleTech to not be a carrier, but just strap a shit ton of guns on it and turn it into a destroyer class. It is what it is. Now, the thing is, you have to watch when it comes to certain things might bring them to actually cruiser class instead of destroyer. But we can go into that later. Where was I? As Julius here. Word of warning, brethren. Don't play the word game with the word. What word is it? Could it be but during the syntax? By the way, I don't know if Erica, if you're still here, you notice this one has red hair. This, when I'm done here, is going to end up in your rotation, by the way.
Great Scott!
What is that? That's Skip saying, cool rants. Please keep going with it. Well, I will. As long as you guys are here, I'm going to keep going. I mean, it's only 8:20. We've only been going for about 2 hours. Hold on. God damn it. Where's the thing here? You know, I got to write this down. Oh, okay. And thank you for the $10 super chat. Okay, Lena, I'm going to have to bring that back because he said colony ships are disposable. They're often just land on the planet after the voyage. Not always. That really depends on the ship. That really depends on the ship. Because you could say a colony ship is also a terraforming ship, which is a whole nother class on up to itself. Just like when I did human battleships, the actual 3-part series, that first one they thought was a battleship. No, it was a very well-armed colony ship. They just thought it was a battleship because it could actually fight like a battleship. So, but it did lift off the planet. When they were threatened and they realized this is possible hostile, they actually did lift off. So, yeah. And you're right. A lot of sci-fi from the 70s and 80s were a lot better thought out than this. Case in point, a lot of the cartoons from back in the day, a lot of the 80s cartoons, the true heyday of afternoon and Saturday morning cartoons were so much better. I mean, they were deeper in story. Some were very, very dark. Some were just still noted as the best out there that were ever actually made because everybody actually gave a shit at what they were making. Now it's let's draw SpongeBob or something or some other bluey shit that they can literally some guy sneeze on a friggin' cell and there you go. There's your cartoon. No, it's bullshit. You look at something like, I don't know, Galaxy Rangers, Exo Squad, things like that. Hell, Silverhawks. And look how well it's made. I mean, the storyline is pretty basic for many of them. However, it's still it's beautifully done. The story is decent. The voice acting is good. The visuals are so much better. And if you look at the toys that came out because of those, wow. Just wow. The quality is just not seen today at all. And it's just, yeah. Okay. Here we got guards saying, man, sci-fi really had a hard arm for making humanity lose in their movie. Yeah. Had a hard on for making humanity lose. Yeah. Well, in all honesty, a lot of hard science fiction will have us either struggling a lot or losing outright. Pure and simple, we wouldn't know what we're facing. However, they wouldn't know what they're facing either, which was the point of War of the Worlds, where they didn't realize that virus, bacteria, microbes, and stuff like that would get into their bodies because they've never come across anything like that. Let's see. Chris says, some guys love the build like a refrigerator. Who? Me, Olga, me like you. Eric says, my comment, now, children, Ubisoft and Disney are examples of why we don't hire people from the World Economic Forum and or had dealings with Blackstone. It's not BlackRock, it's Blackstone. That's one. By the way, when they say, "Oh, BlackRock's not part of that," that's because they're owned by Blackstone, who's actually doing it. So yeah, it's. But yeah, I think you missed it earlier, Erica, when I mentioned take Dr. Evil, swap him with Schwab, and be like, now that I am in charge of all the pop culture, I want to show that I'm hip. I am with it. Talk, doing the Macarena shit dance from Austin Powers. And yeah. Let's see. Chris says, anyone who watched the DNA test on Murray knows that dudes jump on grenades all the time. Yeah. Sometimes they don't have a choice. It's here in the US, it's 2 years. That's the standard. If you don't get the DNA test done in 2 years, you're SOL and JWF. Shit out of luck and jolly well fucked. And I forget which state it is. There's at least one that said, oh no, nobody is allowed to sign anything until a DNA test is done. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. No problems there. That being said, a lot of people worry it's all going to end up in a DNA database. It's going to, at this point, they're going to get your DNA one way or another. And I hate that. I hate that I don't have a fucking choice in the matter. But, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to say too much. I mean, ever since I joined the service, my DNA has been on file somewhere. So I can't say too much. And what is that with Murray? It has proved that you are not. Yeah. And they always drag that. That's what I hate about these. You have the paperwork, and these results have been done by this, that, and the other thing, because we have to, of course, give them a spot on the show to let people know to go and work for, or get their stuff done from them. This is shameless marketing, and it has been proven within 99.9% accuracy. You are. I literally at that point, if I was in the courtroom, I'd be like, lady, did you just have a stroke? Or Murray, are you feeling okay? Did something go up your butt? Why are you pausing? You know, it's just like, just fucking say it. Screw this drama bullshit. We get enough drama in our lives as it is. Okay. Lena says, it would be hilarious if somebody's pulling in. And as he turns off his bike, I say, here is a $10 super chat from Brian Kemp, our big man on his bike. By the way, don't let me forget, I need to talk on here about Harleys, man. Oh man, there's some shit going on with them, and I know you're a Harley man, so yeah, this is gonna be yeah. Oof. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute because I was really going in. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend, and glad that you're here. And let's see, Chris here with even when I don't know what I'm doing, I act like I know exactly what I'm doing and make it up while I'm going with confidence. 60% of the time, it works all the time. Yeah. It smells like Bigfoot's dick. Yeah. Probably the only good part in that entire movie. I am not a fan of that guy who played the main character at all. Every single one of his movies, he has one good joke, and that's it. That's all. When he did the one with Mark Wahlberg, it was when he actually fucked up. When he flipped his hand, he actually smacked Mark Wahlberg in the face because you can actually see him like trying to stay in character, but looking over like, is he gonna punch me now? There was that, and of course, there's "I Got You Now, Pepe Le Bitch." You know that was good. That was, I think, Talladega Nights. I couldn't stand the rest of that movie. But yeah, it wasn't even his joke, and that was just it smells like Bigfoot's dick. Even thinking about hearing the woman's voice in my head is enough to make me laugh. All right, let me downshift here. Guard says the other medieval game I was talking about that was catching flack is actually called Knight's Path. Yep. And it's literally being made by two dudes. Are they friendly dudes with each other? I'm wondering. Like, they don't even have a company. Yeah, probably not. But the thing is, with the way AI is now, pretty soon you're going to be able to make your own video game. I'm looking forward to, picture quality BattleTech. I mean, or MechWarrior. That's going to be amazing. It's going to cause a lot of us to get our PTSD kicked in, but I mean, it is what it is. He says the little company name for the creators of Night Path is just two. It's just two guys working on it. Its name is that is okay. Lean says colony ships. Oh yeah, I talked about that. Disposable. They shouldn't be. Now here's the thing: a colony ship does not have to land. I'm going to say that one again. Colony ships do not ever have to land. Colony ships are there to get the material to the planet, which is why, believe it or not, most carriers for invasion and colony ships are going to be built on the same basic space frame for that simple reason. Your job is to get all the resources and personnel down to the planet so you can begin terraforming and cultivating the planet. That's the job. Nothing says you have to land to do that. Is it possible to do so? Yes. If you're looking for a terraforming ship, you have to be on the planet. You don't have a choice. You have to be in the atmosphere or on the ground to actually do what you got to do. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Let's see. Chris says, Scale, I have an idea for a story. Okay, hold on. Let me get my pen ready here. Humans intercept a fragmented message, one still image and audio. They decipher the code and build a fleet based off the message, only to learn it was a cooking show. Turns out, we're just making things up. Aliens build ship based on cooking show. The ideas going through my head are making me start to crack up. So I'm gonna push a little bit farther before I start laughing too hard. But that actually sounds hilarious. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, War Sniper with another story idea. This is Alien patrol fleet is patrolling the border of their territory, detecting an unknown ship of 18 kilometers long, covered in guns, but they are unknown to them. After contact with the human commander of the 18-kilometer ship, humans tried to peacefully use diplomacy. The arrogant alien commander attacks the human ship, barely scratching its shields, and the human ship attacks back by deploying its escort fleet. Bring an armada with guns that are so advanced that they are point defenses in and of itself. Easy one shot, and one of the aliens' tier cruisers just evaporates. Okay. Aliens meet human war carrier. By accident. Okay. It sounds like they would be basically meeting with the USS Infinity. Now, here's as a slight side note, guys, this is not actually going down the rabbit hole. I did have it on my notes, and I wanted to bring this up. If you guys haven't seen it yet, they're trying to remake the Stargate series. They're trying to reboot it. So Stargate 2.0 is coming, and I think it's going to suck so bad. And it is going to cause people some
Emotional damage.
because the only thing that made that show worth watching was the fact that the actors had fun with it. They realized it was a goofy show, so they had fun with it. They tried to play it not straight, like half straight. Like they had a job to do, but they were just laughing the entire time. They just had fun with it. I do not believe they're going to catch lightning in a bottle. Honestly, that show was kind of a mind fuck in and of itself. But, you know, it was still an entertaining thing. And, well, I don't really know if it's entertaining because when you're deployed, you'll watch anything just to keep your mind occupied. Serious. I'm not even joking, guys. It gets so bad. As Brian's saying, he's enjoying the stories. Well, I hope so because, oh, by the way, Brian, there's not one dropping tonight. I just did not have time to write one today, period. Let's see. Erica says, there's a bill in Indiana that both mom and dad have to be tested. I think my state is trying to catch chimeras. That would be interesting. The thing is, you can actually test for chimera through the let me get this straight. A lot of times, if you test the blood of the child and not the saliva, you will get a confirmed exactly whose parentage. However, just the fluid from the tears, the inside of the mouth, hell, you swab somebody's butt crack, you're going to get different DNA each time. I understand how the chimera effect works. For those of you who don't understand how that is, it's when the egg, either two eggs have come down at the same time and they get absorbed into each other, or the egg separates and then reabsorbs. And what happens is you have two separate types of DNA in there. The actual chimera effect it's actually a broad term. But that when somebody is called a chimera, that's what they have. There's a very long name for it. However, the actual, what's known as the chimera effect, when somebody is talking about reproduction and talking about children, is the fact that, and pardon me for getting a little gross, folks, if a woman decides to let multiple guys blow up inside her, she will hold on to that DNA for a long time, and that will be integrated into her next offspring, provided she gets pregnant within a certain amount of time. That is the chimera effect, which is what a lot of guys do not want to deal with because they want to know that the offspring is theirs and their partner's alone. So, yes, I know it's getting a bit crude, guys, but that's how it is. Chris says it was just Indiana. Just Indiana? I thought another state was jumping in on that, but apparently not. Chris says it's where I was testing security. Oh, you were testing security where they were doing this. Okay. Good to know. Oh, no, he was just in Indiana. Okay, never mind. Testing some security. Yeah, okay, yeah. I've actually, well, I shouldn't say I know somebody. I know somebody who's a relationship of someone who actually goes and breaks into buildings for a living. And that's how he tests security. He tries to find the faults and he gets in. He makes a lot of money that way, apparently. I didn't really ask, but they said he does well for him. He does very well for himself. So I'm like, okay, good to know. See, Guard says, I was just there Monday buying parts for the shop. Cool. Eric is saying, dang, we could have grabbed coffee. I live 15, 20 minutes south of Indianapolis. You know what? Why don't you guys send each other your email addresses and maybe you can talk later. See, it says it would have been fun. Yeah. Yeah. Lena says the 18-kilometer ship is too long. That's not what she said. The story would end. The thing is, that really depends on what would be considered standard size around the universe, which is why, remember, when I'm going to do my ship breakdown, I'm going to be breaking them down smallest to largest. However, a lot of these change. What could be considered a cargo vessel can change dramatically. A cargo hauler of any site specifically is there to, again, haul cargo, which means its bays take up a very large portion, probably 50% or more of the ship itself. But once you get up to a certain size, a cargo hauler, like 80, 90% of it is going to be strictly for hauling cargo. However, when you get up to that size, a cargo hauler is not going to be entering back into an atmosphere. It's going to be going from space station to space station to offload. Same way you don't get your deliveries by mail by a big rig. No, they go to a distribution center and they put it on a smaller truck to get to your driveway. So, yeah. Chris says, is anyone else getting commercials? Yeah, like I said. Yeah, I hope they pay for it too. I'll be checking it. I won't see anything for a couple of days. This is a test run to see if these commercials if they're pissing you guys off. I will make sure. I will double check. I'll even call YouTube, make sure they stop doing it. So if it's really pissing you guys off, let me know. I will turn them off completely. I just as a test run. And yeah, I hope they pay me too. Let's see. Chris saying, think super oil tanker. Okay. Erica says, is the rest of the dimensions proportional? Now, how do I put this? Are we talking proportions? And yes, that's what I was bringing up about what would be considered standard size for a ship around the rest of the universe, because standard size for a ship might only be, 50, 60 ton, not 200,000. There's a big difference between those two. But yeah, it would really depend on that. Let's see. Guard says, I hope this gets read, but the U.S. women's hockey team just defeated Sweden 2-1, giving them an almost 5-point win streak in the Olympics right now. Well, hey, cool. No pun intended. That's cool. You know, the hard part's going to be beating the Canadians because, I mean, that is their only sport. I mean, and he continues, and I thought the one with the U.S. versus Canada a few months ago was savage. Now the ladies are straight up clotheslining people like it's going out of style. Oh, yeah. You know, that reminds me of two different things. I kind of want to, well, I know one hasn't totally gone away, but the other one has, is the roller derby, which you cannot be a man and be in. They were actually killing people out there because you were hitting too hard. Women just, a lot of them, they just don't have the body mass to cause permanent damage like that. And most women are much more flexible, so they can take the hits better. And the lingerie league, the lingerie or football lingerie league, those girls will beat the shit out of each other. Oh man, if you guys are old enough to remember that, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, they go in now, they have the soft shoulder pads, but the helmets are still solid, and they are just wrecking each other. Oh man. I mean, there's some of them pick each other up and slam each other. It's arena football, but they're just, whoo, they're just mean, and I love it. Chris saying, if they're paying you for them, keep the commercials. Okay, I'll check on that. If you guys got the premium, they shouldn't. If you're having premium let me phrase it right. If you have YouTube Premium and you're still getting commercials, let me know and I'll shut the fucking commercials off, because that's bullshit, because they're double dipping you guys and they won't pay me. So that's them being dipshits. All right. Chris says, a good line in a story, if a Xeno scum talk trash about a human ship size, just say it's big enough for your mom. I'm writing that down. Now, here's the thing. If that goes through a translator, you know what they would actually hear? They would hear, this vessel is large enough for your matriarch. Not real, doesn't hit quite well or quit right or hit quite right, but that's what they would hear through a translator, because most translators are going to take the most literal translation they can. It is what it is. There's only one true translator throughout all science fiction that allows you to actually understand the meaning of the phrases, and that's from God, I hate that book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Honestly, that's the fish he puts in the guy's ear is like the only thing that ever makes sense. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I mean, don't let me stop you guys from enjoying the movie. By all means, enjoy the movie. Have a couple of drinks, smoke a blunt, and enjoy that shit. It's not my cup of tea. Julie says, lingerie football league players have more balls than the NFL players. Metaphorically. But yeah, they oh man. They followed the rules as best they could, but man, tempers run high and they would just tear each other up, and it was glorious. Oh, it was just so wonderful to watch. Of course, I was younger back then, and seeing, ladies run around in lingerie at that time was like, ooh, I'm watching this. I'm watching this very, very close. But nowadays with the internet, it's going to be like, okay, they're in their skivvies. So what? Anyway, since we're at the bottom, and no, we're not dropping the stream yet. So chill out, everybody. I just want to bring this up because I was going to, wait until everybody was here. Now, I want to go over the AI slag and how to spot it. Okay. And this is more than just the AI channels. Okay. The majority of AI channels that are strictly AI have either absolutely no person. There's no live stream. There's no Discord. There's no nothing. Okay. You'll not see the person. It's just a voice. And you're going to be sitting there going, I've heard this voice before, because there's only so many that the AI can actually make, at least for now. And it's a male, female, doesn't matter. But there's only so many voices they can make. So if it sounds like it's the same voice as another channel, it's most likely AI garbage. All right. They may or may not show text. Now, the actual translation of the text at the bottom of the screen, that YouTube does that automatically. You can't shut that off. No, it shouldn't be there. Or the option to shut it off shouldn't be anywhere near your screen. Anyway, another way is, like I mentioned before, they will mispronounce the words. Like I got this whole thing on my shirt that says, it's not broken, it just needs duct tape. Well, the AI wouldn't read duct, it would read duck, like it would drag. Okay. If it's an obvious word and it is being misdone, then you know that's AI. AI is reading it, AI most likely created. If an AI is reading it, it's almost guaranteed that it's AI created dog shit. Okay, there's no, and the story is going to be boring as shit. It's just going to follow along on its standard timeline and just be the same cookie cutter crap you've heard before. Okay, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. One of the easiest ways I ever found is when you actually have written the 3 dots because you're supposed to pause, it will actually say ... You know, it's like, what the fuck? And it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Now, another one, and this is for general videos, believe it or not just science fiction, narration, or anything like that. If you are watching a video and it's again, there's nobody behind the camera, there's nobody behind the microphone, it's just words, and they're using, I don't want to say stock images, but there's an actual phrase for it, where they just throw up a bunch of either 2-second clips that are most likely CGI, by the way, or just images, just regular old images up there, some of which don't even match what you're listening to, then that's AI as well. And those are the 2 easiest ways to do it. Now, sometimes, not always, you will have on the bottom, usually on the bottom right side, it will have where it says AI generated channel or something along those lines. It's nice when they tell you, so you can avoid them because they suck. They suck big sweaty moose nuts. It's just, ugh. You know, it's just, it shouldn't need to be there. And there's so much that's going over. I was just watching one and it was so boring. I'm actually sitting with my dad, and we're watching this whole thing with gardening about what to grow to feed your chickens. And the thing's like 20 minutes long, and they only went over 3 fucking plants, and they're just saying the same thing over and over again. And it was so boring. I was falling asleep. Literally had a soda in my hand, falling asleep on the couch. That shouldn't happen at all. So if you guys want to watch out for the AI videos right now, that's what's going on. And if they show any small video clips of AI and you don't know for certain that is a non-AI channel, it probably is one. That being said, I'm going to leave the AI slag alone for right now. I will say I am looking into, probably not going to be for a couple of weeks, what a lot of people are doing is they're having little movement videos in the back. Like you can put in an AI prompt. It will give you a 3-second video of, you know, what's going on. Now, I don't have the part 1 of my ship, but that was the automated arms actually making circuit boards. I would have liked to have taken that picture and actually had the arms moving up and down and the sparks going up and stuff like that in the background. No sound because obviously I'm going to be talking over it. But I would like to add a few more visuals. I want to add more sound effects, but again, I keep running out of time to do it. It's just, it is what it is. So, like Zathra says, see, Brian says, FYI, yesterday I led a short 95-mile motorcycle ride. Hey, it felt great being on the bike again. Now, since Brian's in here, this actually blew my mind. Everybody should know about Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson is once again, because this has happened before, fucking up by the numbers, not giving the customers what they want, and they're about to end the company because at least once that I know of for sure, possibly twice, they have gone to Big Daddy government and they've got their asses pulled out of the fire. That's crazy. The one time I'm talking about this is in the late 60s, early 70s. Hyundai was pitching a whole bunch of motorcycles, but what they were pitching was bikes for the entire family. Small scooters, little bitty motorcycles that they could ride next to their parents and stuff like that so that the whole family can be out. And Harley was focused on bad to the bone and all that shit. So it was literally, they were trying to make a lot of money off a niche audience. And you can't do that. It doesn't ever work that way. So what they did is they got the government to kind of push back Honda so that Hyundai could not outsell them. There's a whole lot more than that, but that's the basics of it. And I know in the, I think it was early 90s, they were having late 80s. They were having another, was it early 90s? God damn, is around there. They were having another issue and they reset, but they actually had to, again, get the government to bail them out. Now they're making a lot of bikes that are not big sellers. And they're literally shoving them on the dealers. And the dealers like, we can't sell these new bikes, motherfucker. Stop sending us more that we can't fucking sell. And it's just, it's killing them. I mean, I think Harleys are great. Okay. I know plenty of guys who are riders. Brian's one of them. I have cousins who ride all the time. One of the guys who used to live here, his name was Dave, and I hope he's doing well because I haven't heard from him in a while. Keep trying to get a hold of him, but I can't. He rides. And he would ride every day in the summer where it wasn't really bad weather so he could save fuel. And I got no problems with Harleys at all. They tried to bring back some of the older ones, but then they strapped on so many extra doodads and stuff. They make them too expensive, just like a lot of cars are now. I'm just like, people just want a fucking bike. Stop making it difficult. If they wanted to do it right, they would pause production and they would do bikes to order. They would send to each of these dealerships. You have a Sportster, you have a touring bike, you have like one each. Doesn't matter what color, you have one each of these styles. So people can go in, sit on it, make sure it feels right. And then they could call up the company and say, hey, this guy wants a whatever. Send me a chopper in cherry red with this engine on it. And okay, good, done. Okay, click. We'll have it here in a week. Fuck, that's how they did with my car. And Volkswagen did really well. I mean, that's when you could still get a TDI engine. You can't get them anymore. But still, what the fuck, over? There are ways to actually do it nowadays, but they won't. They got their heads stuck in the past and stuck up their ass. I wonder if it's up there for the warmth nowadays. The hell's wrong with you? It's watching American companies just fail. And no matter who's in what country, I don't care. I don't care if you're in France. I'm sure you want a French company. If you're, say, in Italy, I'm sure you would hate it if Ferrari had to close up shop because of bad business. You know, it's just, it gets under my skin when legacy companies collapse because somebody's a dumbass. Okay. Let me scroll up here. See, War Sniper says, I watch very few stories, but the ones I do watch are good stories. Okay. See, Guard says, look like we're going for another 9 or 9:30 stream. Well, you guys are still here, so am I. Like I said, we'll keep going to the bottom. That's the last of my notes. I have nothing else on notes. So when we're done, we're done. All right. Guard says, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Hold on. But it's actually just the easiest one for me to get to. They did have the Canadians. It hit 5-0. They were clotheslining their ass. Okay, like they're going outside. Yep. Canadians kept cheating. Now their elections make sense. Yeah, with Castro Jr. Yeah, I know. Just my worry on all this stuff with Canada is if us from the South have to go up north into the Great White North and just say, you know what? We're the captain now. You listen to us. And honestly, I don't want to do that. I've actually trained with some of the Canadians. They can be, well, let's just say you don't want to fight them in the winter, for one. But another thing to remember is these guys would have severe home field advantage. The only thing we could do is go after their leadership and force leadership out, which is possible now since they're so tribalistic. It's just as bad as when Kings and Queens and all that other malarkey. And no, I didn't mistake malarkey for God damn it, my brain just died on me. I don't want to say matriarchy because that's wrong. But yeah, the kings and queens and all that. No, it's bullshit when this kid fell out of my wife's ass, so he needs to be the next king. You do realize when he fell out of your wife's ass, he bumped his head, right? Doesn't matter. He is going to be king. He's going to be a great king, and you must listen. But he's dumber than a box of blonde hair. It doesn't matter. He is my son. He is the firstborn son. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It's malarkey. It's bullshit. So. Where was I? Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Okay, Chris says, I remember in the 80s, a Harley exhaust fell off the bike and it took out our windshield. Yikes. I hope somebody got fucking sued over that shit. Those mufflers are not exactly small. And if it goes through the window at the right angle, it can skewer your ass. Well, your chest. Hopefully not all the way to your ass because, what's before that? Then you turn into one of the Unsullied. Let's see. Erica says, book recommendation, Emmanuel's Veins. I'll write that down. Book Emmanuel's Veins. Please tell me this isn't like farm milking thing. It's a Christian paranormal thriller and an intriguing twist on vampires. Bonus, it's not preachy. Well, that's always good. I don't know if I actually have other books I haven't even been able to crack yet. Just, again, it's time, people. You guys know as well as I do. It gets away from you. Chris also says, I like riding until I took a bee to the face at 70 miles per hour. Oof. Dude, no face shield? That's one of the things I never understood with people riding is why they wouldn't have a face shield when shit coming at you. When the only few times I used to ride, I had a full face. Now, I didn't go anything crazy to have the full lift up piece. But you wouldn't catch me on a bike without a full helmet, especially since one of the guys that came back from Iraq, his whole right here on his jaw, when he went down, he hit the concrete and slid just maybe a foot, if that. It was enough to rip all the skin off the side. They had the skin graft, the whole thing, because it started to tear at the tendons too. And the amount of times people called him Two-Face was just crazy. Of course, when his jaw was wired shut at that point, he couldn't actually say too much. And yeah, Erica's right. At least it didn't take you out. That's what I was thinking. Lena says, I think electric bikes are okay. Me personally, I have no problem with electric bikes. However, you cannot go touring. You can't go long miles on an electric bike. They are just like an electric car. They are around the town, short errands type of transportation. They do not have the not stability. What the fuck? They don't have the staying power of a fuel internal combustion engine. Okay. It's just, and if you ran out of power on an electric bike, you got to sit there and wait 8-10 hours to get it charged because the way they design their batteries, because the way the law is for a fuel, but you pull up to the pump and fill it. And then if you want, you get off, you go have lunch, you come back out. Now that's cool. You check the oil, make sure everything's good to go. You get on, you're off again. You don't have to wait 5, 6, 7 hours. Fuck all that noise. War Sniper says, and I mean, AI stories I watch, very few, but the ones I see are good. What else can I do while I wait for Sin's video? Well, there is Net Narrator and God damn it, I just had his name in my head. Fuck. There are other ones. Aqua Squirrels. I don't even know if he's still recording. I think he had some health problems. But he's a real person. He actually shows him. He'll actually have the text scrolling down one side of the screen while he's actually reading, but you can see where he screws up because you'll see the cuts in the video. See, Eric says Canadians have the "it's not a war crime the first time" mentality. No, well, they got that from us. But yeah, the one thing about the Canadians is they have this kind of weird thing like, oh, yeah, we're going to throw down at any time and nobody else is going to want to throw down with us. That's wrong. And that was actually kind of funny when they're trying to, think they can section off one guy in the bar and beat his ass. And they're like, you better stand up and face us, boy. And we're all kind of looking like, did he just say boy? Oh, hell no. Next thing you know, the entire friggin' place stands up, is like, are you really going to do this? Because it's going to turn into an all-out brawl, and now you're outnumbered 3-1. You really want to do this shit? I'll give him this. At least one of them was willing. Well, I actually should say two, but after he got reminded to turn around and look that he's completely surrounded, he backed up. But at least one of them was like, I'm going to kick everyone's ass. I'm like, no, you won't. The dude was about as thick. His arms were as thick around as his pen. And still talking shit. But you'll find those anywhere. Brian says, Harley is having several issues. They were even going down the Bud Light road. Yeah. The CEO has been replaced. I don't know if that's enough to save the company, because a lot of these CEOs, you know how George Carlin said it's a big club and we're not in it? A lot of these CEOs that did the basically go down the Bud Light way are pushed off to the side. They're removed with pay or put on temporary assignment somewhere else with pay. And then they're simply moved to another company with the same position. Okay. Somebody is doing favors for them. And it's just, no. So I don't know. I hope they pull their head out of their ass. I really do. I would hate to see such an iconic company collapse. Unfortunately, they don't have too many great minds over there anymore. And especially with the younger generations that are coming in. My dad talks about this all the time. The younger generation comes in with all their ideas, how they think it should go, but they have no world experience. And they don't understand that it was done a certain way for a reason, for good reason. So we'll see how that goes. Joseph says, HD has been on and off trouble all the way back, or Harley Davidson has been all in trouble all the way back to the 1940s. Hope they survive this round. Yeah, that's actually in the 1940s. What saved them was World War II. They built almost every single GI bike out there. I mean, it was crazy. At least the ones that the Americans got. Indian made some. Was it Vespa actually made a lot of scooters for the military, which I thought was kind of interesting. And it worked. Why not? If it's stupid, but it works, it ain't stupid. Alan says, Canadian West provinces are trying to become 51 through 54 states of the U.S. Yeah, actually, I know British Columbia and Saskatchewan have been trying to break away for a long time. One of the things that actually kind of pisses off British Columbia is, now I don't know if this is still true, but I know back in the day, prostitution was legal, but it was very well regulated. They would have to fall under U.S. rules, and they'd have to get rid of that. And that was one of the weird things. And it's something about the local governments weren't going to agree with follow U.S. laws or some other crap. It was weird. So, Joseph said the squirrel is still recording and does live streams on and off. Okay, good. Very, very good. The thing is, he only narrates. He doesn't create. You guys out there, you guys create. I create. I'm one of the few people that is basically like the old singer-songwriters. You don't see those anymore because all these artists are told what they are going to sing. Hopefully with Squirrel and Net Narrator, they don't get forced into that. Like, you will only read these stories here. And it's just, we'll see. Lena says, I will tell you now, or I could tell you in April, the new anime about Austrian painter reincarnated as anime girl is going to release soon. I heard something about that. Like it was his favorite character in the game or something like. I don't know the details. But there's lately there's been a lot of isekai gender swaps going on, and it's getting weird. But the thing is, it's always in one direction. A guy become like an old man becoming a young girl or something, and I'm just waiting for the one where a older woman who like never hung around, like had real bad case of agoraphobia or something like that, wakes up or scared of men, like some sort of phobia on that, and wakes up as like a young boy, and all of a sudden she's like, "What?" Looks down, "Oh my god, what is that attached to me? What the fuck?" And go and grab a knife, like, "I gotta cut this off," and then a maid comes in and actually stop. "What are you doing? You've been circumcised once already. You're good." I think that would just be kind of funny. But the thing is, when they do that gender swap thing, people accept it way too easy. Just like the one, I guess he was like a video game character with the black wings. Is now it was a guy playing it, but it was a woman with black wings who basically has the enough power to flatten the planet if she farts. You know, it's kind of weird. But we'll see how they go. It's nice when they actually do throw a little bit of realism. Like, God damn, I can't remember the name of the anime. The guy, he lost one of his arms and the opposite eye, and he ended up facing a dragon. They're like, "How do we kill this thing? We can't stab it. We can knock it down to the ground. We knocked it out, but how do we actually kill it? It's covered in scales. They're too damn hard. We can knock it out, but we can't crush it." So he grabs this giant freaking metal spike, and he's like, "Where is it? Doesn't have scales? Up the ass." Turns out it's a female dragon that gets off on it. But the thing is true. There was an old phrase, "kick the dragon in its scaly ass," because that is one of only 4 places that don't have scales. You got the eyes, inside the mouth, and the rectum. And I'll say it, rectum, when you shove a telephone pole up there. Okay, Brian says, thinking about jumping on a Harley and riding through Arizona. 2,450 miles round trip. Ooh. All the way to, what, are you going towards the Mexican border? Or are you just going to Phoenix? That's interesting. And that's now, I don't me personally, I don't go on long ride. My brother loves doing it. At least he used to. Now that he has his 2 girls, he doesn't do that anymore. He's just got to work his ass off trying to keep that massive house in order. Although why the hell he bought that fucking place, I still don't know. Oh, I want a pool. I want a pool. That's a lot of work. If you're like me, I'm retired. I could spend, 2 hours every 3 or 4 days actually taking care of it. But he doesn't have the time to do that. Eric says those provinces will have to be territories for 6 to 10 years plus meet population quota before statehood is granted. If I remember the law properly, the law has been changed so many times. Don't go by that anymore. Because in all honesty, the Constitution of the United States was actually reworded after the Civil War. It's not these states are, it's this United States is now. Or what was it? These states of the Union, or I forget exactly how it was phrased originally, but now it literally phrased as in all the states belong to the federal. You can't get away. And the thing is, even was a few years. Now Texas was threatening to break away from the United States, and then another state said, "Yeah, we want to break away too." And the federal government said, "No, you need congressional approval, and the president has to sign off on it." I'm sorry, but if that's the case, that's the same bullshit that a certain king from England was doing. So blow me. It is within any state's legal right. It is not a felony. It is not traitorous to separate from the union. That being said, they still will have to return any federal assets that they have on there. Like if Texas broke away, they would have to strip a lot of the military posts and ship all that stuff out of state. And that's just a drop in the bucket compared to everything else. Plus, they'd have to now work with their only what they bring into the state as a state itself. So yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes in there. Brian says, I'm thinking about, oh, wait, I read that. Where was I? Lena says, I've started to use AI to help me create images because I create chatbots on the chatbot website. Oh, okay. I didn't know that's what you do for work. One of the things that's actually, I found this hilarious. A lot of the, shall we call them models who are on a certain website that rhymes with fans but starts with only, and they're getting pissed off because people are making AIs on there that are just taking all the eyes and money away from them. And I laugh so hard. I'm like, this is what is happening. I am a firm believer that technology will put us all out of work eventually. You got to remember to put that eventually on there. Now, one of the last ones that are going to be put out of work is things like a farmer, but the creative arts has always been a luxury, and which means it's going to be one of the first ones to be removed by AI. Again, I'm getting covered in AI slag all over the place, and now I know guys who do how do I put this? Very political stuff. And they're getting buried. The algorithm doesn't have to do anything. The algorithm just says, "Oh, look at all these other websites that I should, or channels that I should put in front of this one." It's yeah. But yeah, it's just it's the way things are going. You can either fight technology or you can ride it like a river, and it will take you to your destination eventually. Alan says the gender swap story, if done humorously, yes, you could, absolutely. Which actually reminds me, I would hope that the take one of these isekais. Now, I remember reading the first like 2 books of this one before I just stopped reading manga altogether, where the guy is isekai'd into his video game, but it's a sci-fi video game where he has this, basically it's a personal transport size ship. It's big enough for about 3 people to live comfortably, maybe 4 if you're lucky. But it's ultra maneuverable. It's got just devastating weapons. I mean, they're not end all be all. Like it is basically a small like escort destroyer or destroyer escort. So if he's facing something the size of a battleship, he can't just go in, blast it once and he's done. But if he goes up against anything else that's that size, he's going to end it fairly quick. Not to mention he already knows the happen. Okay. Okay. Anyways, guys. Oh, here it goes. Okay, it's back on. What the fuck? What the? Sorry, guys. It's something freaked out on this side. And since we're actually, it looks like a lot of people going to bed, I'm going to run through the rest of these chats really, really fast. But yeah, I'd like to see that isekai done. It looks good. Anyways, Brian's going to Phoenix. Okay, they tore the local area. Okay. I hear the roads down that far into the southwest. The closest I got was Vegas. There's Lena saying it's a hobby to create chatbots. Okay. Okay, yeah, you guys definitely talk about the if you guys like that sort of I can't go into it, so but yeah, by all means, make sure you guys, if you wanted your own chat bots, there's the man to talk to right there. Sniper saying you run around. See, yeah, would be. I might need to get a web designer eventually, but I mean, I'm right now, the only thing I'm focused on is making sure I get stories out on a regular basis. I freeze. I don't know. Do I keep freezing, guys? What the hell's going on? It's weird. It was an ad. This is the first time it's what the fuck? It hasn't glitched out like that before. It's just another ad coming in. Oh, that's weird. That is just, yeah, I am back. I'm thinking I'm back. Okay. It looks like Alan's leaving. Still froze. Yeah, couldn't hear you, but now you're back. Okay. Since this thing is starting to glitch out, guys, by all means, get hold of each other on the whole chat box, web design, and all that stuff. I'm going to jump out of here before this thing fucks up big time. So, safety brief. As you guys know, take care out on the roads. The weather, especially here in the Northeast and Southeast, is getting very, okay, it's getting bad. Okay, watch out. There's going to be ice storms this time of year. It's just going to be bad. So be careful on the roads. Please be careful on the roads. Shouldn't be too many critters moving, but black ice is a real bitch. It's almost killed me twice. I don't need to go for a third go around, and neither do you. Also, if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat their hold on. Ass. Okay. Yep. Good night, asshole. Anyways, make sure if your little soldier's going into the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets wet in there, at least if you know what you're doing. Aside from that, again, guys, take care of yourself. I am out of here. This is Syntax saying good night, everybody. And I'm punching out.